everyone, I'm Miss Karen at Adams Memorial Library. Welcome to the March Bake a Tale program. So Bake a Tale is the program where we talk about recipe and something to bake and some books that are kind of connected with the recipe and some crafts that you can do while your recipe is baking. And since it's March this month, I thought we could do something, kind of celebrating green, celebrating St. Patrick's Day and the wearing of the green. And so the cookies are molasses cookies. So they're brown, but they've got green sugar on them to make them more St. Patrick's Day-esque. A little bit like that, but you can use whatever kind of sugar you have to put on them. So the recipe is molasses cookies. The books have to do with green, and so do the crafts. You may have noticed I have a shamrock ring on. And the crafts this month are all things that are kind of, I've heard this is a 4-leaf clover. This is a shamrock because a true shamrock would have 3 leaves, but I like these ones too. I think the 4-leaf clovers are good and they'll bring good luck. So the crafts are a ring and a shamrock bookmark, shamrock decorations, and this one makes 2 shamrock decorations, one in relief and one that you can put on another page. And we also have books this time. In the kits that are available in the children's room, you can come down and get a kit, or you can always just call us and reserve one. And we'll, we can bring it out to your car even. You don't even have to get out and come into the library if you don't have time. You can reserve a kit, but in the kit will be the recipe for the molasses cookies and a list of what the books are and materials to make the crafts. So you can come in and get a kit. We'll have them as long as supplies last. And if you're not able to come in, you can always email us at kids@adamslib.org, ADAMSLIB.org, and I'd be happy to email you a copy of the recipe and the instructions on how to make the crafts. But the books this time are The Last Snake in Ireland, a story about St. Patrick by Sheila McGill Callahan and Will Hillenbrand. A New Green Day by Antoinette Portis. And this one's just called Green by Laura Vaccaro Seeger. This book about St. Patrick is not really a story about his life. It's not really religious. It's more kind of a folk tale that has to do with St. Patrick and how he rid Ireland of the snakes. Because in this story, oh my goodness, the snakes were everywhere. The snakes were coming out of the well. The snakes were dropping down out of trees. Oh my goodness, the snakes were even in the outhouse when people were trying to go to the bathroom. And if there is anything worse than a snake coming back out the hole in the outhouse, I don't know what it is. I think that would be just horrible. And so the people just, begged St. Patrick to do something. And when they finally were bothering poor St. Patrick's old dog, Finbar, that's when St. Patrick couldn't take it anymore, and he got his special magic together, and he rang his bell, and then all of the snakes just went into the sea, and some of them swam to America, some of them turned into sea monsters, some of them turned into eels, and St. Patrick thought, thank goodness all the snakes are gone, but then he heard a hissy laugh, and the biggest, baddest snake of all was still there. So this story is about what happened when St. Patrick tried to get rid of the last snake in Ireland. This story is just about a nice green day. This actually takes place in the summer and talks about all the things that might want to talk to you on a beautiful green summer day. Something would say morning I shine on your pillow, says the sunlight. I scribble on the walk, says the snail. And I'm a map of my own green home, says the leaf. And when I move, I measure, says little inchworm. So lots of pretty pictures, green and other things in this book, A New Green Day. And this one, green, is about all the different types of green. Like forest green, it's a little bunny in the forest. Forest green, sea green, he's a turtle in the sea. Lime green, pea green, So many shades of green. This one's got lots of beautiful pictures and all about green. And now the cookies. So as you know, it's always more fun to bake with a friend. So you need an adult for this because the cookies do need to be baked in the oven. The recipe doesn't call for any eggs. It actually calls for vegan butter, but you can use regular butter in it, but you don't need to have an egg or two. You don't need to have any eggs at all. It will make a lot of cookies. So I did half the recipe and it still made a good number of cookies. And you can make them smaller if you'd like them to be a little smaller. It calls for making big cookies. And the important thing about this recipe is when somebody gets them out of the oven, you really should just follow the recipe of how much time it takes. And when you take the cookies out of the oven, they might not look like they might look still kind of soft. They might not look like they're quite done, but they are done. So you should take them out then and let them cool because they get firm as they cool. And if you let them in longer than the allotted time, then they'll get they'll be crisp. They'll be crispy like ginger snaps instead of ones that you can chew and bite into and chew. And they'll still be good, but if you have them harder, you might need to dip them into your milk or something before you have them. And if you would like to make them, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, you can use green sugar too, but any kind of sugar will work. And these are called, they're ginger molasses cookies. So if you don't like as much ginger, you can not put as much in. You can cut back on the ginger a little bit, but if you like ginger and cinnamon and nutmeg, these would be good cookies for you. To make the shamrock relief picture and the decorated shamrock picture, the first thing you will do is look in the kit for the cardstock that has the shamrock on it. There will be 2 plain pieces of cardstock in the kit and one with the shamrock. Once you found the one with the shamrock, cut it out, cut the whole thing out, and then tape it. Don't glue it because you want to remove it again. Tape it onto one of the plain pieces. You see where the shamrock shape is? That's because this one was taped right there like that, and then I colored over everything. Once it's taped down, you color from one side of the other. Color over the shamrock, color all the space, and just, decorate it however you would like. You can use crayons, you can use markers, you can use paint if you want to paint. Whatever you have at home, you can decorate this whole thing. And then once that's all done, and once it's dry, if you used paint, then you can carefully untape the shamrock, and then you'll see the white space where the shamrock was. And then you can take your colored shamrock and you can, like I said, I just taped it to show you, but you can glue it onto another picture, another page, and you can decorate around it. You can give it to somebody for St. Patrick's Day. You can use it for St. Patrick's Day decoration. So that's what you do with this one. To make a shamrock ring like this, here's one leaf, here's one leaf, and here's one leaf of the shamrock. And here's the stem at the bottom. That's the shamrock ring. In the kit, there will be 3 different green pipe cleaners. You don't have to do any cutting or any gluing at all with this. You'll just take the pipe cleaners and line them all up. I'm going to show you a little bit with this pink one. You'll line them up, and then whatever finger you want your ring to go on, you put your finger behind it, and then you would twist them, and that's going to be, this extra part here is going to be the stem of your shamrock. So for this one, it's twisted around like this. I'll show you. You twist, one of them's twisted around, and then, oh, there we go. Twisted it around my finger, had this little bit at the bottom, and then you twist it off like that. This piece at the bottom, you sort of be careful with, pipe cleaners are a little bit pointy. They could be a little pokey on the end. So you might need an adult's help with this too. Sort of bend the bottom up so it's not sticking out, so it will poke you, and then you'll twist the 3 pieces at the bottom together. You might have to fiddle with this a little bit to get it. You want it to fit around your finger, and you want it to have a bit of a stem at the bottom, but not too much. Once you've done that, you've got these 3 other pipe cleaners that are going to be sticking up the other end, at the other end. And all you have to do with those is pinch the ends in a little bit, and then you just roll it up. So it's going to look like a snail shell or a cinnamon roll, something like that. You'll do one side, you'll do the other side, and then you'll do the part in the middle. And then you might have to fiddle with it a little bit to make it look more shamrock shaped. Here's 1 leaf, 2 leaves, and then the last one. Pinch the end, roll that down too. And here I have the pink shamrock that you can wear or give to somebody else. Your little shamrock ring like that. To make this shamrock, you can look in the kit for the green paper that has 2, maybe not quite authentic shamrocks, but still fun shapes. So this can be your good luck 4-leaf clover craft. Cut it out, and then if you would like to do it like this, you can look for the extra pieces of paper. There'll be half sheets of some different colors in. And if you would like to do it like this, see how they're taped on in the back, these colors? You can, once you've cut the shape out with the black outline, go to the back of that and you can draw some shapes on. So I drew a heart. I drew these sort of flowery shapes. I traced around to make circles. If you have a hole punch, you can punch the holes out like this. If you have a hole punch, then the holes will just be out. For the other shapes, what you'd have to do is bend the paper a little. Don't crease it, but just bend it a little. Make a cut in the middle of your shape. So for this one, I would bend it, and then I had the scissors, and then I cut around. I cut to the edge of where I'd drawn the circle and cut around that way. I bent it a little bit, made 1 snip, and then cut in to make the stars and the flowers too, and tiny little pieces down here. You might need an adult's help or somebody else to help with that. It might take 2 people. One might have to sort of hold it while somebody else is cutting. But once you finish that part and you have some holes in your shamrock, then you can cut pieces of this paper and glue it onto the back. For this middle part, I put a piece of yellow paper that went from here all the way down, and I glued it on, and I only put glue at that part. You don't want to cover up the other parts because you want to put a different, well, I mean, you can. If you want to make it all say yellow, you could just put yellow paper around all of them, and then it wouldn't matter so much if you put more glue if it overlapped. When you add the extra papers, it also gives a little bit more weight to this, makes it a little bit stronger. If you were making a yellow part like I did here, you would cut it glue it all the way down, and then I cut it around the extra paper that was sticking out. I cut around the green stem again. And then I did it for some orange paper, for some pink paper, and then for some red paper. So I only had it covering 1 leaf of the 4-leaf clover. And then when you're done, you trim all the extra that's sticking out, and then it can be a decoration. You can make your 4-leaf clover or your shamrock look extra fancy. And to do this one, this is another corner bookmark. So you can hang it like it's hanging on my finger. You can hang it on the edge of your book and use it for a bookmark. So to make this one, you do the corner bookmark fold. There will be a piece of plain green construction paper in your kit, and you can make a couple of bookmarks from this because you need to start out with a square. So if you wanted to make a 6-inch square, a 5.5-inch square, you might need to to get a ruler. You probably will need to get a ruler, measure out a square, cut that out. And once you have your square, you fold it, turn it so it's shaped like a diamond, and bring the bottom point up to the top like that. And then you'll have a triangle. You fold in this point on one side up to the top like this, and do the same thing on the other side. So then you have a smaller diamond like a kite shape. And you open those ones out again. So once it's a triangle, you fold this point, so it's going to go up to the top. So the fold will be along here. Fold, bring this one up to the top, so the fold will be along here. And you have this diamond shape. Then you open that back up and put down the two pieces here. Fold one bit of the top triangle down. So now you have a triangle facing up and a triangle that's facing down. And then you bring these points back up to the top, but instead of leaving them just up the top, you tuck it into this little opening that you made, tucking it into an envelope. So you bring your outside point up to the top and then tuck it in, and then that point will be folding down to the bottom. And then this is what you could put on top of your book. You could leave it like this, but it wouldn't look as much like a shamrock. The next thing you will need to do then is kind of trace a shamrock shape on here. If you use these folds, you can make that be, here that would be the center of your shamrock. This one could be one side. This fold across here would be the other side of the shamrock. But the important thing to do, you can't cut too much. If you look, these leaves aren't exactly round. They've got these straight edges, and that's because if they were round, then it would fall apart, and you couldn't use it as a bookmark unless you taped it all together, and that would be fine too. But once it's like this is when you would draw a bookmark on it. So the top part, the top of this triangle pouch is going to be the top of your bookmark, or I'm sorry, the top of your shamrock. Top of your bookmark with the top of the shamrock. So you would need to make a little curve here, little curve here, little curve at the bottom, and draw a stem. Same thing on the other side. Then cut it out, and hopefully it'll still be sticking together. And then you can cut it a little bit more once you see where the parts are that are going to be holding it in place. Then once you've done that, you can give your shamrock a little face. You can trace around in black like this. You can decorate it however you want, or you can just leave it plain, and then it can be a bookmark. Or you can give it to somebody to say happy St. Patrick's Day. It could be a bookmark for you or a bookmark for a friend. And that's it. That's it with the crafts this time. They're in the kit, so just come down to the children's room and pick one up. Or, as I said, you can email us at kids@adamslib.org, and I will send you the instructions that way. I can email them to you. So thank you very much. Happy baking, happy crafting, happy reading, friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next month with another Bake-A-Tale. Thanks, everybody. Bye.